It's loosely inspired by something that I went through with a group of friends in Los Angeles when a friend of mine went off his medication for schizophrenia, and we had to try to find a way to get him help, and it was very frustrating.
For me, definitely, the minute I read the script, I was really inspired by it, actually, in the way it talks about mental illness, which I think is a subject that people are so shy of talking about. And I loved how it showed both the brilliant and the frightening side of mental illness, and really talked about it in a way that it didn't feel afraid to talk about it. And that meant a lot to me. And also, then I had a meeting with Catherine, and she was one of the most extraordinary presences.
Yeah, you can say that.
That
Present.
that I had met with in a long, long time, and she was very grounding, and it felt like a very safe kind of environment that she was going to create with exploring these issues and this journey.
I had never made a feature film that had been directed by a woman, which I felt very remiss, even though it wasn't something I'd actively sought out.
He was ahead of the curve, because we first spoke how many years ago now?
Yeah, like 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago. Yeah.
And I that was something that I felt was I really wanted to do. I went to a facility in London, and with a former friend of the person who the film is based on, a former carer of his, and spoke to some real people dealing with the condition and having emerged from it, and it's fascinating, the kind of the sensory overload that people with schizophrenia have to deal with on a daily basis.
And it was always just meant for Simon. I just knew this was one of those roles that, someone comes, the right role and the right, person comes along, and they're meant for each other. And it, to me, it was just worth waiting, and it definitely was.
Another challenge was directing the film with a broken arm, which you...
Oh, yeah. That was the only thing that went wrong. Everything else was totally smooth, but
That was the sacrifice to the movie gods, was Catherine had to fall off a skateboard and break her arm.
In the middle of the shoot.
Just so we'd have some adversity, because it was an intensive shoot. I mean, it was 19 days for a feature, which I'd just come off Mission Impossible, which was 108 days. And
I got inspired by Tom Cruise's stunt.
Yeah, I know, right? Every film I do, someone has to break a bone. That's my stipulation.
It's such an amazing process making an indie film, especially in 19 days, because everyone that's on that set is there because they care passionately about it, And so the sweat and blood that goes into it as a complete...
And there was a lot of sweat.
camaraderie of people, though. It's truly like a small ecosystem that makes an indie film. And so I think you get so excited when you're like, oh my God, and we finished it?
I know.
And now it's going to be done.
Well. It was amazing to make a film in Los Angeles, which you just don't
which
do
also
that
shows some of the homelessness. And I think
we shot on
it
Skid
really,
Row.
I hope it opens up discussions about some really important things in America.